Okay, ladies and gentlemen, we are going to whip across to that main screen. Where is it? Here it goes. And there's a 50% chance that I've got this set up. Oh, it's working, Blue. Hello, Blue. How are you?
How you doing? Doing good.
All right. Wow, you're really coming through loud. Give us another voice check there, folks.
Hello, hello.
yeah.
Is this working?
Yeah,
Are
it's
we
all right.
are we live? Are we doing this?
We are. It's come together at the last second. It's come together at the last second. I've been a little bit busy this evening. We're just getting Blue into that match. Hopefully you've joined that. I've sent you in a PM, Blue, the server information. You'll be on the Axis side right now. They're almost ready to go here by the looks of this, so we got about 2 minutes left. Hey, ladies and gentlemen, welcome to a frantic start to Hell Let Loose seasonal round. What are we up to? Four? Let's have a look. Let's have a look at the main stage. Where's that seasonal draw thing? There we go. Okay, so this is the main stage, folks, and we are having a battle tonight where we've got Chimera taking on Cerberus, and I've made a mistake here that I thought they had HTD as well, but it doesn't look like their icon's on there. I'm going to leave it on there anyway. Someone might be able to correct me later, but it was a blend of Cerberus and HTD. I don't know if that's confirmed. Anyway, you can see here on the screen in front of us, we've got the table of what took us to this point. So Chimera won the first round, lost the next one, and they are now in the position where they either lose and are eliminated or win and move forward to another shot. Cerberus have kind of gone on a different journey. The same journey rather. They won the first one, lost the second, lost the third, and now they are here. One of these teams, both teams being on a 2-streak lose, one of these teams is going to have 3 in a row and be out of the competition, which is, it's a little bit sad for them, but hey, you know what? That is what this is all about. And just popping that back up quickly. So we know that Chimera lost to Raptors last week, so Raptors are playing the line at the moment, and we'll see where they end up. Bottom line of it, I guess, is that whatever team wins tonight has still got one more round they have to try and beat somebody out of those good teams up the top there that loses before they can get to the playoffs. And thank you. The rabbits are, of course, in the background there eating stuff as I start the stream. Blue, how are you? Anyway, you good?
Yeah, literally messaged you like, let me know when we start. You're like, 3 minutes.
Good time.
Throwing all the links together. I read it wrong. I read the times wrong. I converted it to my time, but you'd actually told me in my time, so we're all good.
Yeah, no, all
Hopefully
good.
This is the only technical difficulties we have.
Blue has been kind enough, because I managed to score 2 slots tonight. Blue has been kind enough to come and join me at late notice. What are we looking at tonight, Blue? We are looking at sainte-marie-du-mont. And this is probably my favourite map, to be honest, although I don't mind some of the others out there, the Russian maps. I don't mind some of them. But sainte-marie-du-mont is one of my favourite old school maps. Why? Well, have a close look at that big city down the bottom right hand corner. There's always a good fight around that, and we would expect to see some interesting things. But the 3 points across the middle are very different to each other. That's what I like about this particular map. So the dugout on the left-hand side there has got that big hill on the eastern side of it, and it's a bit of a skewed road there, and it's a fascinating area to fight over. The AA network in the middle there was just a shitload of trenches, and it's really fun to watch battles fought in there, and it's got so many cool things all around it, south and north and east and everything. And Pierre's farm is such a brutal open spot. It's like a mini Kursk area, so that can be quite challenging for teams. So no matter which midpoint we get, we always get something really interesting. Now, we did see a couple of weeks ago, Chimera lost to, can't remember who, but they were gradually ground down through that bottom right corner for a loss. So Chimera will be looking to try and pick this up. I don't know a lot about Cerberus, though. Unfortunately, I have spoken to their rep, and he has provided me with a little bit of information, but not a lot. So I can't really talk too deeply to them tonight, and I have not seen them play a single game. Have you seen them at all, Blue?
I haven't heard of Cerberus before. I obviously know Chimera, but Cerberus is... Maybe I have. I've seen their logo around, but I haven't seen them play. I've seen a couple of other teams play. And the ones you mentioned before I've heard of, but I don't know anything about Cerberus. I am seeing chat. It's all in looks like German, so
Yeah, so
Not
they're
give you any information there.
the fact that their contact is from the 91st Panzer Grenadiers tells me a lot about where their background is. So Sibo is the name of the guy. He's the commander of, and it's his second seasonal. Last seasonal, they lost their 5th game in the same stage. Okay, there you go. So they've made it pretty far in the previous comp. They play with as a co-op with HTD, so I have got that correct, and they are still there. Due to the fact that we have 2 competitions at the same time. This is our 7th game in the lineup, they said. They never played sainte-marie-du-mont together with HTD, but they have played it twice as opponents. And I hope I'm reading this right, because there is a European translation here I'm doing across to Australian. They've already achieved the main goal, being get to the first win in this stage. From now on, they have no pressure. Okay, so they're actually happy with where they've hit so far, and anything after that has been a bonus. I like it. All right, Blue, by the way, just so you know, if you're not watching already, they have got everything set up, ready to go. So I'm expecting the match to kick off in a second. Who's going to win? Not who do you want to win, who's going to win? We don't know enough about Cerberus HTD, do we?
No, I reckon for us, they're going to be, like, anything that they do is going to be unexpected. I think it's kind of those things, like, we've cast Chimera games before, so I think we're quite familiar with Chimera's tactics and the way they play, but Cerberus is going to be one of those things of, like, we don't know anything about, so we're not going to be able to call whether they have, like, push, or if they're doing, like, one of their, you know, flanks that they usually do. So it's going to be interesting to learn about this team as they play. And it's a full game as well. It's a full game, so we're going to see a lot of action, I think, all over the map during this match. I'm
just doing a whole bunch of adjustments, so I've dabbled in Hell Let Loose a little bit this week, playing with the new update, of course. Are we going to see fire tonight?
I did a cast at 12 today. I did one between a bunch of teams, a combo, and all I was asking was for a little bit of flamethrower action, because I played it and I had this just kind of urge to kind of cackle the entire time I was using it. So it's like, I kind of want to see a little bit of flamethrower action. That'd be good to see if they could, like, use it to clear buildings, clear trenches, that sort of thing. But I'm also always holding out for that sacred medic that'll pop up.
Yeah, bring the medic on, they say. All right, okay, your camera is working fine. I've just made sure we've got your in-game camera. For those wondering what I was doing there while Blue was talking, we could probably pop over to that and have a quick look so you see what we're looking at tonight. Let's pop that button. My Stream Deck's finally working. I've actually managed to get it sorted. Apparently you have to run Stream Deck off your main screen, or otherwise it doesn't work properly. That's what's been causing me so many problems over the past however long. So this will be the view that you see tonight, folks. Blue's screen in the top right corner there, of course. And my screen is the main screen, and that's our and there's our header bar up the top. So Chimera will be the Axis forces tonight. You can see them. They'll be the blue forces on the left hand side there, as you can see, and Cerberus and HTD right hand side allies tonight. I think this favours Chimera being Axis. I really do. They definitely tend to play better when they are Axis. I don't know. Maybe it's just the faster tanks, because they do blitzkrieg pretty well. But what we also have, Blue, if you could bring up your map, please. Let's do this. Oh, where are we? I didn't get mine. Clicked on the wrong screen. No, I don't wish to exit. Stupid obs. There we go. So this will be the other view we have tonight for those that are new to the stream, because I reckon we'll have a few new people tonight, given that I'm the only streamer for this match, and that, you know, Cerberus and HTD. Look, g'day guys from Australia. You might struggle to understand some of the crap I go on about. This stream is a 30-minute delayed stream. I'll just get rid of that 2 map now, Blue, and we'll go back to the main screen. So yeah, they're the images that I'll have through this match. So Blue, what Blue's going to do tonight is she's going to be right down, tight in the action at squad level. So I expect to see her, you know, maybe about 5 to 10 meters behind a person at any given time. These guys have all actually run across the field at each other, and they're shooting each other already, just getting it on. So see there, Blue's going to get right down at that ground level in that top right corner, as you can see, whereas I'm going to stay up in that panoramic view and just make sure we can watch what's going on. We are still waiting for something. I'm not sure what. Don't have a clue.
It looks like it's full, so I think they're just waiting for confirmation to roll the map.
Yeah, they must be having a chat. We don't get invited to the channel chats anymore in the seasonals. They just don't bother. So unless, look, we've missed the first part of the battle and Chimera are losing badly.
Yeah, I found a medic, so I'm all good.
There we go.
They're all in white. Is that the new uniform? The full white getup?
Yeah, it is. There's a few special helmets and everything too. I managed to, I can talk about it now that they've released the update. I was part of the promo footage stuff for that. So there's a picture with a whole bunch of dudes in a Kugelwagen. That was me driving that.
Action. I have 3 flames. There's flames.
There's flame. Yes, excellent. There you go. They're trolling it out. God, you got to love it, don't you? Just going to go back across to the main screen here, Blue. And we'll just have our music going here while we're waiting. What I wanted to do was just talk briefly about the map while we're waiting here and just have a bit of a think about, well, you know, as I said, Chimera lost last time to whoever it was, and they lost because they didn't protect that east flank very well down that bottom right corner. It could be a completely different map tonight. Here we go. The map's changed. 1 minute to go. I'm expecting both teams to rush the centre and be spread out. On this map, I expect them to be spread out a bit more because it's got the room. You know, you haven't got valleys and hills and trees to dodge. You can drive wherever. So I'm expecting 3 lines of advance up around whatever cap point it is. What I've seen recently is that teams, if the cap point's either left side or right side in the middle, they tend to stay within the first 4 grid squares of the map. You know, the four columns. So
yeah.
This is, you know, like if I look at the screen here, if the dugout is the cap point, for example, the teams are staying in the Charlie, Delta, Echo, and Foxtrot columns, which is limiting their options. I think I know Chimera were doing those wide flankers in the first parts of the competition, and it was doing them really well because they were very hard to stop, those little 1s and 2s out there. It seems to have dissolved. Is that what you've noted recently? I mean, it's a lot of the matches you stream. Is that what you're seeing as well, or?
We did see. I find a lot of like doing a super wide flank, going as Pierre's far as middle. It's like it will probably be what you said, the four columns. Do a super wide flank, go ridiculously wide, think you're going wide and then go wider again, and that seems to be working for teams, and they get round the back of another team. They can get an OP, they can actually get a garrison out there because the other team's not that far. But if they don't, if they aren't going wide enough, they're not getting those flanks on, they're not actually getting behind the other team on the point. So I think what they need, like, I think team need to flank, but I've been doing a lot of the 35. So a lot of those games, there's not the numbers to do super wide flanks. I think seeing a couple more 50s, they actually have numbers. They can send their recon, they can send a couple of squad leads just out randomly to
the 1s and 2s. The 1s and 2s, hey, where you just like 2 or 3 squad leaders or whatever, go for a bit of a flick around there. I'm just going to turn your point of view off while you're sorting out stuff there, so we can just see the big broad view here. So right. we know we're on Pierre's farm. And just have a quick look at that while the teams get themselves into position. So Pierre's farm is the first capture point, and then of course it's anywhere from there, north and south. Cattle sheds, we call that Bunnings. For the reason is it looks like a giant tool warehouse. So for those that don't know what Bunnings is, go Google that. American viewers, Home Depot or Home Depot. And then Sainte-Marie-du-Mont is the city. This is the same scenario as what we saw previously for Chimera, the Pierre's farm down to Sainte-Marie-du-Mont. I'm going to say it flat out right now. I said it in the last stream that I did on this map too. If you lose Sainte-Marie-du-Mont, it's game over. They've got a pretty good draw here, having the fields and Sainte-Marie-du-Mont linked up together. They're close. They should be able to defend Sainte-Marie-du-Mont if they lose Pierre's farm early. They know where they got pushed last time. They know where the enemy got through last time. Learn the lessons, Chimera. That's all I'll say. For Cerberus and HTD, they've got cattle sheds. That's a pretty hard one to defend because it's got all those wheat fields north and east. There's so many options, and because it's in the middle of the map, the enemy, or Chimera in this case, are going to come from the left and the right and the centre, and probably from behind as well. I think that Cerberus and HTD don't have as much luck in the draw of the checkpoints as Chimera does. Having said that, we have no idea how this is going to play out. Now, let's go to that 2 map view now, Blue, please. You've got your map up. I can see that. Yep. I've got that over on my left screen here. And we're going to have a look, and we're going to talk about what Cerberus are doing first. So tell me, talk through and hover over the vehicles so we can see who's in what vehicle as well, please.
Well, we got all their nodes up. Everyone's dropped a box, so that's all set up. We've got the OPs setting up, so that everyone can spawn in. Got a tank crew as well. Another support with two officers in it. Looks like they're gonna drop boxes for garrisons. We got a medium tank, and we've got another supply truck going around with the recon up as well. It looks like they've maxed out on their tank crews.
Yep. So just watching what's coming in from the south here, we've got that giant truck full of people on the right side. So that's going to be a big clash straight up. Everyone's going for Pierre's. And another truckload coming up the golf column as well. A couple of supplies there. We've got 4 tanks straight up. So that's the same sort of thing for Chimera. But interestingly, recon tank with a whole bunch of flankers in it. There's 4 people in that tank and someone sitting on top. And at least 3 squad leader types out there on that left side, literally going up the Charlie column. Blue, back to the main screen now if we can. It's about to hit and get real, and you can see all of the anti-tankers are sitting up in the back of trucks. Blue is now chasing in. Let's get chase cam running. We've got chase cam happening. Here's the first shots are about to go in, I reckon, here as that first truck with two Rocketeers on the back of it is going to see. Are they going to see anybody? Oh, there's a bit of a... Oh, there's an early rocket.
Around, but I think people are going to start bailing and they're going to start firing. I think the truck's going to go straight through and then just maybe cause a distraction or hit the wall.
Truck just got killed by Chimera. The Chimera truck got hit by artillery, I'm pretty sure. That's good pre-position artillery there from the Cerberus HTD guys. And they've got the numbers here on the point already. And they're just starting to get that cap happening. So first blood there to the Cerberus team. They do have numbers here at the point at the moment. It's not a huge amount, but what I wanted to point out quickly, it's down below me here in the main screen. There's the Chimera truck getting blown up again, but they've got more numbers out here, it seems, deeper into the HTD part of the map. So Caledonia's Bubble, Go Trek and President are out there on that right flank starting to push through. I can see, though, there is a tank there. That's what took the truck out. It was a Stuart tank that took the truck out. There's some explosions going out the back. There's someone just lost something. There's a garrison up already. It's a brutal start here at the moment, and it's definitely going Cerberus and HTD's way. Blue, what's it look like on the point?
It looks like they've pushed in. They've gotten straight into the circle, and they pushed right up into the shed here, that little shed right on Chimera's side. And it looks like they're just getting in there. There's 2 people in there, and they're shooting out, trying to hold that area. They're looking at the Chimera spawn. We can see that on the other side of the hedge, but they're kind of holding that area. So it looks like they've pushed up really far forward, and then they're just going to hold that and try and stop Chimera pushing through the area.
They've got a classic little firing line over here next to the wheat fields. It's quite interesting. There's an Angry Luke's shooting the Stewart at the moment. Not sure how that's going to play out. Some sort of truck or something just blew up on the point itself. It's first blood to the Cerberus HTD guys, but Chimera, having got that garrison in early in the centre of the map, and also one further to the east side there, up into, and we use the clock ray method here, folks. So if I'm looking at the map, the screen right now, you put a clock face on it. So 12 o'clock's the top, 6 bottom, 3 to the right, and 9 to the left. So about the 10 o'clock position, there's a Chimera garrison, and there's one also at 12 o'clock, and that's starting to feed troops into the point. The Cerberus HTD line is way back there, actually, just looking at where they are on the map. They are right back here at the Gulf 5 area. I'll just bring up the 2 maps scenarios so Blue can bring hers up as well, so we can see how that's played out at the start. And as I said to you earlier, just zoom out full map first, please, Blue. First, on the left-hand side there, we've got 3 squad leaders from Chimera flanking pretty hard. Look at all those garrisons, though. They've got 6 garrisons up already, and you can see Cerberus concentrated right side of the map there, and also sort of up in that central area where their firing line is well northwest of Pierre's farm. What are they doing there, Blue? They seem very far north.
They're up north of the...
Yeah.
They're still north of the point. It doesn't look like a bunch of them are quite in. Like, they're in the circle, but they're not in front of the circle. They're not down in the 6th row here. They're all sitting back in the 5 and then in the circle. That seems to be about it. There is a sort of a push, but they still seem to be behind the point. I would have expected everyone to be like on that red-blue line, but it seems like they're sitting really deep in the point and just holding it and making sure they're in the circle. But also, they're completely in the proxy as well.
Yeah,
they've only got a little bit over there on the wide flank.
The reason why they're so far back is because there's 2 Chimera tanks literally almost on the point, if not in amongst those buildings. The 2 Cerberus HTD tanks are actually out on that right side where I'm looking at them right now. Caledonia's just wore one to the face, making sure he's dead. Sibo is up on top of a plane here, overwatching to see what's going on. Cerberus HTD have actually managed to kill most of the infantry from Chimera. Von Lock, the only one left. There's that Panzer IV down below us that I was talking about before. So, you know, this is a little bit interesting here. They've got Chimera on the ropes already. They are pushing them right back, and now we're starting to see over on this left side of the map, Alex is starting to push down through that area where Chimera got pushed pretty hard that other month, or that other match rather, a couple of weeks ago. So I'm expecting big things from Chimera out this way because they understand how this side of the map works and they should be able to pick this up. But there's definitely a spawn in there from the Cerberus guys, and Chimera just holding at the moment. It seems like a bit of a stalemate there. No one wants to run across that field where the wheat field is. The tanks are sort of static at the moment at the back here. They know they've got tank pressure on that east flank. That they need to deal with before they can push forward, and those tanks aren't dying out on this east flank. The infantry is, though, unfortunately. Oh, and look at that. That is brilliant shooting from Cerberus. They just managed to pick up the Panzer IV. So what do you got in there in the ruined building, Blue?
I have Mick-Mash just in that ruined building. Just over the other side of the hedge line is where that tank blew up. But they're kind of watching those fields and waiting for Chimera to come through. So if anything comes through the wheat fields, they'll be able to pick them out. But it looks like, apart from Von Luck, who's still alive in that wheat field, it looks like Cerberus HTC have the point, and they've really spread out. So
Yep.
I think they might want to keep looking for Von Luck there. But it's probably, I don't know, is he in the circle yet?
I don't know. Can we have a quick look at the artillery there, Blue? I just went down here and had a look. Seems that the Chimera artillery is not having a lot of fun down here. The guys appear to be dying occasionally. They just run back onto the point. Who have you got up there for Cerberus HTD on their artillery at the moment?
We got Clinch, Ludfix, and Leonardo, and Nala, and Hydrating.
All right, I'm just going to have
four people.
Have a quick look. Stay on the point there where you are right now. I'm just having a look at what they've got for a setup up here. Not much of anything. They haven't put anything extra in there, so they're not too worried at the moment. There's no pressure from Chimera up there that I can see. There's no one lobbing rockets in, so they got free reign artillery, and you can hear that artillery landing everywhere. Back down onto the point right now as we watch Blues Cam nice and close in there as Diesel's making his way in. Well, he was. I called him. He died. It's tough work getting in there from Chimera's perspective, and they are going in ones and twos. You know, Von's still in there. I'm expecting maybe a satchel from him if he's got that. But Chimera are pushing up that right side, but they're not really gaining any ground at the moment. They're just not making it at all. Here's a Von Luck. He's missed his first shot. He got him the second time.
Got the second one.
And now he's about to get...
I think they know that they're there, though, because...
there
goes
look
Von
at
Luck.
that! Nice kill that was. Poor old Von took it through the wall, I think. Oh, mate, must have been...
I think we frozen got him from the hedge line just around the corner.
There you go. I saw the blood spatter on the wall, and I was wondering, because that's not an open building.
That
okay.
sounds like a bombing run.
Yeah, that's HTD Cerberus. Just picked up 2, 3, 4... maybe 5, 6, 7. Oh, that is a brilliant bombing run. It missed the garrison out there, but it killed 7 Chimera players. So that's really taken the pressure off them out there at the moment. Although that spawn wave, fortuitous in that they had probably less than 10 seconds on that garrison to spawn back in, and they've done so. So they're back on the point. That's amazing, actually. The bombing run was brilliant, and it's got 2 tanks pushing down there. They're trying to blitzkrieg here. That is a great blitzkrieg play happening from the Cerberus HTD guys. Chimera in a lot of trouble here, Blue.
I think they got to worry about that tank that's pushing in. And probably wearing a full white suit is not going to be an advantage on this map. I think in the field, it's probably not great. Not great. You're going to get seen a little bit. So
that's brave. That Stuart just wore one from an anti-tank, or either Panic or Spherical picked him up. That 75 there now is trying to come in. Just doing a quick check. There is a 76 moving up onto the field as well. There is a... what is that? That's a Jeep, isn't it? Let's have a look at our first Jeep in the tournament. Oh, no, it'd be a Kubelwagen, my apologies. So I'm just going to race over here, find the Kubelwagen.
Oh, everyone on those Dragon's Teeth got obliterated as well. Out where that tank had gone for the garrison, the Artie Strike absolutely nailed about 4 of them.
Ladies and gentlemen, there is the German commander in a Kubelwagen retreating. There's a cool bit of footage, wasn't it? Okay, okay, so that 76 is there. Look at...
Is this the 75 or is this the
75?
medium?
Rather,
it's being chased
the
by...
the Panther's coming out to try and kill it. There's a Panther just there, about 11 o'clock, 10 o'clock on screen right now. That 75 is being chased by everybody. I can see that. That is...
it is taking them out. Good shot. I don't think they got a satchel on it. Doesn't look like there's a satchel, but it looks like that it's putting HE rounds right in the right spots just to keep infantry off its back.
He just saw...
It's working well, but they're on fire.
He just wore a ricochet, by the way, by Von Luck. Saw that rocket round go sailing off into the air. So he's retreating now to repair himself. They don't... I mean, those guys are pushing up on that tank now. They're about to hit about 8 or 10 infantry up there. HTD Cerberus are absolutely consolidating that eastern flank there and killing plenty of the Chimera guys. So there's a real pressure. And welcome, by the way, ladies and gents. I just saw that we have gone live. So 30 minutes ago, this is a 30-minute delayed stream. Lovely to see you all. Hope you're enjoying it so far. Really interesting start here. Shitty center point. Nobody ever likes fighting on Pierre's farm. But in all honesty, these are the ones where you have to actually get your strategies and tactics right and get your teamwork right and get your, you know, combined arms stuff happening, because these are the ones that require you to do that, which is probably why folks don't enjoy fighting on them so much, because it takes a lot more work to get the same result, you know. So at the moment, what Chimera's trying to do is sort of push along. It's still a frontal assault. There's nothing deeply happening out on the west flank. You can see Jinx, Red Six, Butterdog and Kelter, they're trying to push out this way. They're not deep into the territory of the Cerberus HTD guys. Where Warpy is on screen at the moment for the main screen and Special, that is where Chimera need to try and get to, so that at least they can put some pressure on the back lines and the reinforcement lines for Pierre's farm, while they're trying to attack here through the middle, where the middle of the screen pretty much where Historian and Jinx and everyone are. While they're trying to attack through there, it's easier to defend for HTD Cerberus. All right, Blue, you're still in that little ruined building there. How's that going for them?
Epsilon and Mr. Endgame, I think that is, are just kind of holding that ruined building. I can see Chimera, Jonatech. Whoop, there goes Mr. Completely, absolutely, just taken out in half. And Jonatech, I think, throwing nades and clearing the building. But it looks like they're trying to push through that wheat field to the west and then get into that ruined building. Maybe they can pop out a couple OPs around. And then they, whoop, there goes Jonatech as well, taken out by Epsilon. Push through the wheat fields, and then they'll be close enough that they can kind of go along the hedge line, along the road, and then get into the point. They don't have as much open ground to cover, and they have a lot of like kind of little spots where they can get through. So they might be able to sneak through the wheat fields and sneak through the houses as well along the hedge lines. So it looks like they're using the west area as kind of a main push, but they do have to contend with a line of HDT and a Cerberus.
Let's
along
check this.
That road there.
Let's check this with a map view, shall we, Blue? Let's get across to those maps and have a bit of a look. See, and I'll get you to talk about what you can see on the map now. I'm just going to fix something up on the screen elsewhere, by the way. But just tell me what's going on in the main map there, please.
So we have a medium tank right down there in the bottom of where are we? H6. So that's kind of shooting out into sainte-marie-du-mont. It looks like it's shooting at the church, kind of stopping Chimera from coming through that area there. It looks like they're all over the point. They're all over the point. They're in the front of the point now as well. They're not just behind it, because I think those tanks went down. And they've got a light tank out the back there as well. So it looks like they've got this sector absolutely locked down. They've got the proxy as well held, and then they're starting to push out further. They have a garrison all the way over in C4 as well. So they've got a wide flank going, which is what we were talking about before, whether or not people are going to go flanking. but it's currently locked out. So it looks like a bunch of recon teams maybe.
Yeah.
No, they're just officers. They're just normal squaddies. So it looks like they're contending with flank. So both teams might be flanking around. Got a couple of garrisons up. They could have more, but it looks like they're right on that line and just getting ready to do a little bit of a push as well. And artillery is absolutely going mental too.
The artillery is definitely having the better run of it today, isn't it?
They have 5 people on artillery as well.
Ouch.
So they've got 2-on-2 and 1-on-1. So
yeah,
it looks like they're like, yep, we're just gonna reload real quick and then shoot as well. And it seems to be working. It seems to be stopping Chimera from pushing in because they'll just like shoot it on that 7 line.
Yep.
So then it's forcing Chimera to go wide, but that's too wide. It's too far to go.
Yeah.
Takes too long. So
There
I
you
think
go.
that's might be one of their tactics.
So I'm just trying to get folks, say, the little icons up at the moment while you're having a chat to us. Looking at what's going on for Chimera here, you can see their little the little line that's happening there as they try and push out, sweep around to that north area. And we can start to see those flankers, Blue, just starting to come around now. That's critical for Chimera to get that to happen because they're not getting that frontal attack happening, are they? They're not going to be able to get through there without doing something a bit different. They've got to do something a bit different, don't they? I mean, that front.
The only front area is that wheat field right in the corner, right in the middle of G6. That wheat field there. That seems the only area that they can really push from the front because the other ones have too much open field. So they kind of go around, get into that field, get as close as they can, and then go for a push on the circle and get as close as they can to the buildings. But other than that, they have to be really careful in the wheat fields because you can be seen. You can be seen easy depending on where the enemy team is.
Yeah, absolutely. All right, we're just about. I'm just about good here. I want to give everyone the chance to vote for their favourite team. At the moment, it is looking a little bit like Chimera could be in a bit of trouble still. Let's get back across to the main screen now and have a look what's going on. And there we go. So we could see, as we saw in that other view before, the Chimera guys are trying to flank around, but you can see that the Cerberus guys are covering them out this way. That's going to continue on here, Blue. I don't feel like Cerberus. Look at this level of comp. I don't feel like Cerberus are going to give up anything, are they?
No, they're not going to. And I have a little Stuart that's pushed out quite far from the front line as well. It's just going straight down the main road. It looks like it might just haul ass and try and take out as much as possible and get into Sainte-Marie-du-Mont. They might just have gone, you know what? Screw it. Let's just let's just send it. That's the tactic that we're doing right now.
Let's just send it. Send it.
Send it.
That's exactly right. Okay. Oh, I just got Veteran Rifleman. Thank you very much. As I am a streamer, this is what happens when you stream, folks. This is how we level. Butterdog's managed to get himself up around the back here, Blue. That's interesting. That's squad leader positioning there. Look, and for those in chat, by the way, welcome, folks. It's great to see you. I would love to hear from the Cerberus and HTD guys who are in chat. Please stick your hand up and say hello to me. I would love to hear more about your clans and what's some of the stuff you do and all that sort of stuff. I haven't got the icons there for you to cheer against. Unfortunately, I've had a really brutal week at work this week, and that's why the start of the stream was a bit rushed tonight. Look, cheer your lads on and lasses if there's girls playing. I'm sure there's girls play, aren't there, Blue?
Oh yeah, occasionally there's some. We do exist. Maybe. I don't know. I'm still not sure about that.
The internet's changing. It used to be just all men, but now there's these women things that keep appearing, and it's terrible, isn't it?
Just females everywhere.
Yes, that's right. So no, it's nice to actually see the games. Games are actually balancing out with a bit more of that. Men and women playing games instead of just always blokes. That's certainly how my gaming career started.
Stuart who could is coming up against that.
Oh, that had to hurt. Where do you find a panther?
Out. What was that? I didn't quite get a look at it. It is a
panther. Pair of panthers. No,
so
panther and a panzer four.
Panther and a panther.
Yep.
Oh, that was a strike as well. That missed by about an inch.
Oh, lucky Panther is lucky there. So that's a pair of tanks now that are coming through. I can see here that Chimera. Oh, that's an airhead. Is it? Or is that a supply drop? That's a supply drop. Geez, that got me good just then. There's a supply drop come in from Chimera. Down here at the graveyard. They learnt the lesson, Blue. They're not going to give up this graveyard. They're not going to give up on this graveyard. That's the lesson they've learnt from a previous match. You can see all of the Chimera guys out repairing that tank now. Excuse me. And it's now going to try and move the point. Chimera getting some momentum here, Blue. They're not picking up that eastern side of the map, which we're just looking at there at the 3 o'clock position. But they are pushing some more bodies over into that wheat field there. It's still a very frontal attack here, but with 2 tanks, I reckon it'll be pretty challenging. Are you seeing anything from Cerberus HTD on their tanks? I know they just lost the steward up there. Is there anything else on tanks coming? I can see a 76 up the top and a 76 on the point, and a 75. Heavy... Holy shit, there's tanks everywhere.
It's for 76. When we loaded in, I saw, because we all hopped into an infantry squad as well. It looks like that's because they want to max out their tanks. They probably want to try and have 6 tanks on the field at one time, which is a good tank, especially if they're a tank heavy team. So that might be what their thing is.
But it's an open map as well. Although, like, I'll just zoom in quickly here and show folks just to remind them. You know, we've got these shit little wheat fields. But there's nothing wrong with being a tank driving through these, and it's a very open map, so it's a bit Kurskish in that way. Long-range tank fire is, the better tankers are going to win the day on this map, I think. Tanks are going to have more play here than they have on a lot of other maps. But I did see on your map before, you don't need to bring it up, there was a 76 coming in from the point up north. There was a 76 down there on the point already, and there was a 75. So I thought Chimera had some good tanking coming in. It looks like that Cerberus HTD have got more tanks than Chimera on the field at the moment, and that's going to be a problem. So Chimera are just on the back foot everywhere right now again, and this seems to be what's happened to them the last couple of rounds. They are there as well again, and the back foot in this round. For those that don't follow Chimera or haven't played against Chimera before, let me tell you a few things about them. I've known Chimera for a very long time. I'm not part of their clan. Neither is Blue. Blue, we're both independents, aren't we?
Yeah, we're both independent streamers, so we're not clan affiliated, we're just in all of the clan discords, we're in all the community discords as well. So we just come and say hi and that, but we just we don't play comp for a team, and we don't wear the tag, so I actually keep my cast tags on always now. We
are match whores. We will stream for anybody. That's how we work, and I'll speak for myself there maybe, but Blue's pretty much the same.
No, I got called up for today. I got a message about 10 a.m. saying, "Are you free at 12 to cast a match?" And I went, "Hell yes!" So excellent. Message us, please. If we're available, we'll definitely cast.
We try and support the competition and the community. We'll stream pug matches. We'll stream whatever you like. People like to watch their pug matches because they like to see how their team plays and stuff, and try and work out what they're doing right and wrong as practice. But in this particular instance, Chimera formed out of AIF and HFKT. They are the 2 clans they formed from 12 months ago now, pretty much, almost. And it's been a big year for them. They've been in a lot of comp. They started with HCA. They started with BPL, but they had to pull out of that early. Then they went for HCA. They went with a seasonal, of course. There's an airstrike coming in. I can hear that. Who'd that get?
That strike actually got the tank. I could hear
76
it, and
on
it
the
landed
point.
right behind the tank. Took out that 76 on point.
That's a good strike. Well done, Chimera there. So Chimera
it just moved as well by about 3 meters.
Yep.
Moved just up, and then it got taken out. So they didn't quite move far enough, but that was such a lucky strike. This
is Chimera's first year of competition, and they've been in 3 and a bit. So BPL, they had two rounds in that, and then they had to pull out of that. They had to go away and square away whatever they were doing, and then they started up with the HCA, where they lost the first match and then won everything after that. HCA comes back in March, I think. Then they got into the seasonal as well, and then they got in the APAI, which of course finished recently. They dropped out of the APAI fairly early, actually, Blue. But they've done pretty well, and this is their first time in the seasonal. This is what I would call the big leagues, though, the seasonal. It's got all of the big teams are here, pretty much, and they've done pretty well. I think they just lost a tank, though. I just saw that explosion over the back there. They've done pretty well, but in the main round, they've certainly come up against it quite a bit. And what I'm finding is that their attacks are becoming far too linear, and they're not agile enough. So they've been beaten by agility in the last 2 weeks. Now, ironic that I say that because right now they're just starting to cap the point. I saw it blinking, and they're doing that with sheer brute force onto the front there. You can see about 10 people from Chimera coming in at the front, whereas what's occurring from Cerberus and HTD is they're sending people down towards that graveyard at the 11 o'clock position on the screen right now. I'm going to whip around to the right here. I'm wondering, there seem to be less Cerberus than I was expecting. There's a bombing run way down the back of the map. What the hell? Hey,
Who's bombing run where?
Who is bombing down here? Cerberus.
They're bombing artillery.
I didn't even know you could do that.
Chimera, that little circle trench line there, that's gotta be artillery. I see the spotter just down there. They've gotta be, let me zoom over and have a look, because I reckon that Chimera's artillery has been giving them such a hard time that they've decided just to bomb it instead.
Well, they've got 3 people there. I can see Tatsy, T Gaming, and Creepy. Creepy being a squad leader there, Tatsy being recon. They're harassing. Those 2 guys there on the left of screen are harassing the 4 on artillery. Here's a truck going in. Whose is that? That looks like an orange truck. All right. Okay. Cerberus, HTD are starting to move here, by the way. They've got Creepy and another squad leader pushing around to the... Well, if I orient now, that's facing north. So they're just trying to push something in on the southwest of sainte-marie-du-mont. But unfortunately for them, they are losing PS Farm. So Chimera, what they've managed to do is they've managed to push brute force onto the point here. And it's been tough going for them. They've been fighting... Well, we're not even 30 minutes into the match. I always love that about Hell Let Loose. It's like you feel like you've been fighting for about a year, and it's not even 30 minutes yet. Chimera now starting to take the point back. I think they've got the numbers here. There's a big spawn wave from Cerberus HTD to stop that cap that's happening there. Chimera might not be able to take it just yet. They need to clear that, whatever it is on the point, Blue. If I can get you to stay on that.
That's
center
a garrison
point right there.
on the point there. We've got Lupus in the trench line just behind it, but I think they're going to focus on clearing out anyone coming into the point. Oh, a huge, even bigger spawn. I think that was like half the team just spawning there.
Yeah, they had a little panic.
And that'll be to push out Chimera. Oh, strafing run.
They had a little panic, but it's a smart panic. Cerberus have responded as quickly as possible. Remembering, I think we talked about it on the last stream. There's a If you get told, okay, redeploy now, you click the redeploy button, it's 20 seconds, and then on average, a garrison is still another 20 seconds on average. It might be less, it might be more. So it's a 40-second turnaround time from when you get told redeploy onto wherever to when on average you would land there. 40 seconds. And so consequently, you've got to take that into account when you're watching your defensive point get capped. So if you haven't got your team redeploying by the time it's half capped, then you really don't have much time left. You've probably got, if it averages 40 seconds, you've got maybe 20 seconds left for that team to have come back in to deal with whatever the threat is before you've lost the point. And those types of things, folks actually don't think about that. So they'll wait and they go, oh, we're half capped, we'll come back now. You're probably about 30 seconds too late already. That's how I look at it anyway. So
unless you've got a defensive team on it. If you've got a defensive squad and they've been taken out but they're spawning at their OP,
yeah,
you've got to listen to your defensive, like 1 or 2 squads saying, actually, we need help. And they'll be able to tell quite soon on whatever push it is how quickly they get taken out. And that's when you need to redeploy.
But let's talk about that.
And if you're getting too close to halfway, make a judgment, and I think someone can send 1 or 2 people back. You just help out, because they can always come back again.
You should already. It should be organised. People shouldn't be coming back willy nilly. So there should be a Alpha Bravo squad, redeploy, defend. All right, that should be the commander's call. But okay, here's the way that conflict works. Everything takes time to occur. So the defensive squad starts to get attacked on the defensive point. All right, and suddenly they just start to lose it. All right. And they've got 1 or 2 guys spawning in, and they might take 10 or 20 or 30 seconds to assess what's going on, what the threat is, and tell the commander, hey, we're starting to lose the point. And that's what usually happens. So at that point there, they say to the commander, we need help back here. The commander's then got to make an assessment. If he or she is not watching the battle smartly, they have to make an assessment which might be out of the blue because they're busy doing something else and they weren't focused on the wider strategic battle. So it might take them another 10 or 20 seconds to go, shit, I need Alpha Bravo and Charlie squads back there immediately. Because remember, as streamers, we see all of this stuff that you can see on the screen right now, which is, like people getting shot all over the place, troops all over the place. We know that's going on, but the commander doesn't have that perspective, and neither does the team. So it's 10 or 20 seconds for the defensive team to go, oh, hang on a minute, we could be in trouble here. 10 or 20 seconds for the commander to go, hey, squads X, Y, and Z come back. And then an average of 40 seconds for them to redeploy and then come back, unless they shoot their teammates, of course, to get that quicker redeploy. Yeah. So there is a full minute gone from the moment the point starts getting capped.
And it only takes 2 minutes to cap a point as well.
Exactly. So you've literally got 1 minute of padding on average to absorb bad judgments or mistakes. That's not a lot of time, although it feels like forever in this game. It's not a lot of time. So, by the way, right now what I'm doing is, as you're staying up on that point for us at Pierre's Farm, I'm looking down here at the southwest of sainte-marie-du-mont, and we know that Cerberus HTD got a garrison down this way somewhere. I can see the truck. There are 2 squad leaders. There is going to be a surge spawn in here. Absolutely. So Von Luck and Pell are just moving around down here. Heavenly's there. Heavenly always running defensive squads, of course. There's a Panther moving forward now through sainte-marie-du-mont itself. But Chimera are about to get a rude shock, because I reckon there's going to be a 2-squad deploy here. Noting, of course, they don't fill these squads off. It was the TL game. Thank you. Anger Problems has just said in chat. Okay, there's the first squad that's come in with. There's 2 squad leaders. There's a garrison over there right now where HTD and Cerberus just came in. They've got a garrison there directly west of sainte-marie-du-mont. CD is going to get one down here to the southwest as well, I reckon. He's going to do probably a double boxer so that the Chimera don't know about it. Chimera in a lot of trouble here. They've got 4 people on defense and no idea what's coming right now, Blue. They're in real trouble.
Yeah, I think. Oh, I just saw 3 people just get absolutely obliterated by Artie. Artie is doing some work in this match. They are just like, every time I move my camera and there's an Artie shot, all I see is just body parts flying everywhere. They are just clearing out spots. I think they're marking it really well in this game. I think they're going, yep, there's people over here. Can you send a shell or 2 over here to just kind of clear that area?
Blue, just quickly, talking about agility. Sorry, I have to interrupt there, but this is what I've been talking about since I first started casting, in getting multiple squad leaders to actually be doing the forward work while your team's defending or whatever. I've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 squad leaders from Cerberus HTD have just spawned in off that garrison pretty much, plus a recon as well. Chimera are about to have a mass spawn event occur on sainte-marie-du-mont, and they have no idea it's coming. This is how I would do it myself. We'll get 1 or 2 squad leaders. We've talked about this before. Maybe up to 4 people out of a 49-person team, just running around the back and setting up a garrison or 2 with supplies, double boxing and that sort of stuff. And then all of a sudden spawn in a whole bunch of squad leaders and get them to spawn in a whole bunch of squaddies, and you'll overwhelm the defenses. You will literally overwhelm it. It doesn't matter what's happening when you're defending, because if you suddenly have 30 people spawn in on that attacking point that you're working on, you're already winning the cap race. So, and this is smart play. These guys have got their shit in the one sock, and they are absolutely about to roll this. And there it goes. The cap's starting to occur now. We note that Pierre's Farm is just getting tinkered with there. The tanks can stay up there and defend that. Mind you, of course, if Chimera outplay Cerberus HTD on Pierre's Farm and kill those tanks, then you call off your attack down here and you get back and you defend your point, and that's the command decision that you would play. So here we got the roll starting to occur here, although it is a bit interesting, Blue. What have you got happening on the point right now at Pierre's? That seems like, well, Chimera are sort of capping, but they're not, aren't they?
Yeah, they're kind of pushing it. I think they're mostly in proxy. It looks like if I turn my camera over to the east, it looks like they're coming in from the east, down in that corner where they were before. We've got a Lush pushing in. They're just firing. They've been taking it up.
Yeah, there's
I
a
was about
dead
to
Luke.
say, they're just gonna fire everything and take out as many people. Maybe go for the garrison, but nope, they get taken out themselves.
So-
Right, if they turned left a little bit, they probably would have gotten the garrison. So looks like it looks like the team here have got this defense.
They've got it, Blue. What's happening?
down.
What's happening here now is Cerberus HTD. They've already got almost 50% of the cap. Now is the time where you just surge your entire team onto this point and roll Chimera, roll the defending team on this point here, and they're doing that. I've now got probably about 10 plus people pushing in. Hydra's in Sainte-Marie-du-Mont itself, in the middle of the city. Playing tag with Caledonius and Heavenly. Here's Chimera now surging back with a bunch of people. They should be able to get a what's it called? The bloody what's the thing you do when you actually protect your point? You get a I've had a mental blank.
Reinforce.
Reinforce. Thank you. God help me. The reinforce, and I think that's been thrown down now.
Would help. Yeah, I'm seeing that Chimera have taken out the garrison on Pierre's farm, which means they won't. Let me pull up the map. They do. No, there's 2 garrisons left and right of Pierre's farm, so they will be able to get into the proxy. But if they have enough, if I just scroll down on my map as well, their garrison is still live. Cerberus, HTD have their garrison up in G8. And if they push into Sainte-Marie-du-Mont, they might be able to steal it from under them, but they do need to rush in and get in that circle. Just
quickly, what's happened there is Cerberus have actually failed on the attack there. They haven't got enough down south. They've come in on a linear path down that west area. I expected a couple of spawn-ins.
They just got wiped out.
They just got slaughtered by a very good, Chimera surge. But Cerberus screwed that up. They literally had it rolled and circled, and then they just sent everyone in from that west garrison. That is a terrible decision. That is actually going to mean that Chimera, who still had that pressure on up here, they've done the counter turn unless Cerberus can push back in. That is a colossal mistake from Cerberus HTD, what just happened there. By all means, Chimera well played in sending back your troops. Probably a little slow on the uptake there, but they got them back there. But Cerberus just screwed that up by sending everybody pretty much in on that west garrison. And that
they didn't send anyone back to defend Pierre's farm. I think they should have.
Well, they were surging blue.
Like they had the attack, but maybe 1 or 2 people left. I think because they lost the garrison on point. Chimera was losing Sainte-Marie-du-Mont, but they then didn't stop their attack.
No, but so that wasn't a problem. They were surging onto Sainte-Marie-du-Mont, and they were surging very, very well. And they had I would say a 90-degree arc of people coming in from different points. All those squad leaders and everything. Where were all the OPs from those squad leaders? It was all of a sudden 20 people spawning in on a garrison. That's on one garrison and running down a fucking road, and Chimera just went no, and they shut the door on them. That was
just have an MG up in the bell tower.
No, it wasn't. It wasn't that. It was the fact that they didn't use the agility. They'd set themselves up with agility. Our Von Lux sailing through the air there. I love that stuff. They set themselves up with agility, and then just screwed it. Honestly, that was a big mistake from HTD Cerberus. It allowed Chimera to shut down that attack, and they'll clear that out now, hopefully for them. And the pressure is still on. So there's still good pressure from Chimera here on Pierre's. They've almost capped this. If they get this is going to be a big disaster for Cerberus HTD, because I reckon Chimera is going to be ready to roll the next point as well. And this looks like it's going to go Chimera's way. But after a major mistake from Cerberus HTD, Chimera have capitalized on it with an amazing attack, and now they've got pressure on that next point there as well. So there's a hotel squad up there. Mister is going in with the supply. You can see it coming in there now. The recon's up there on Le Grand, and look, there's still pressure here, but quickly check the maps, Blue. We're going to have a look at this to see. I want to see the big open view to see where the Cerberus HTD garrisons are. They've lost all those garrisons, of course, along the 5 and 6 rows. Now they're right back up there. They've got everything to the east of cattle sheds. That is fascinating. Chimera were not ready for this, by the way, because they were all of a sudden under pressure on Sainte-Marie-du-Mont, and they couldn't set up too quickly. So they're just trying to catch up with the fact that they somehow managed to save Sainte-Marie-du-Mont from what was looking like a brilliant attack, which was poorly executed. And then they've just gone, well, you know what? We've got some guys on Pierre's. Let's fucking take that and see if we can grow a few crops and smoke a bit of weed or whatever the hell it is you do on Pierre's farm. Dirty Pierre's farm has now been taken by Chimera. Chimera now need to hold the shit out of this. So we've seen Cerberus and HTD hold that forever. I'm just going back to the main screen now, Blue. Cerberus and HTD have been holding this for almost half the match. They've just lost it, and now it's Chimera's turn to see if they can hold it for at least 47 minutes to win. Or what can they do from here? So what do you do from here? You've got to put pressure up on cattle sheds. That's got to be the case because nobody's a slump team here. Cerberus and HTD will regather, they'll recoup, and they'll square themselves away and they'll start the push again. Chimera doing the right thing here, Blue. They're starting to push out on that east flank. What I might get you to do is just pop up. Actually, no, stay on the point there where one-handed is. Yeah, where you are exactly there. I want you to get in nice and tight on that area and just watch that for us for a while. I'm sweeping around to the east of the map here. I'm watching this push up to the eastern side. But God, well done to Chimera, capitalising on a bad mistake from Cerberus. Hey, Blue.
Yeah, it worked really well for them. They were losing the point, but whoever was on Pierre just went, you know what, screw it, we're going for that garrison. They managed to take out the garrison, meaning that even if the attack had worked, they still would have taken out the garrison and caused some trouble there. Oh, look at the little jeep going straight through the field. Look at us. It's zippy.
Look at that Kugelbargen. Love it. So yeah, I mean, even causing havoc on the point and taking down the garrison is good enough to put the pressure. You've got to get the pressure of whatever you're defending and put some pressure on what they're defending, and then you gain the battlefield initiative because it means they divert resources into defense. So taking that garrison out was still going to always be a good thing for Chimera, but now they've got the roll on. This is what Chimera are good at. When they get on a run, they get on a run. And they're just pushing this eastern flank now. They're going right up into those buildings where there's always a bloody garrison. And I might get you up that way, Blue, if you can. Yeah, up to your right there, that way, that where you're pointing right now. I'm going to get Blue to stay in on that action, folks, because that's critical for Cerberus, because that's the key to all their garrisons.
In that field there, is that what they've got?
Yep.
There's always garrison in that wheat field, right in that corner there. The OPs, whatever it is, that's like the secret spot that's not so secret.
Yeah, that's it.
Puts their things.
But that's the place up there right now where this is the keys to the city for Chimera. If they can crack this area here open, what it means is they can cut off the attack lines that are coming down the main road onto Pierre's farm. So what I'm talking about, I'm just going to zoom over it here while we watch this play. So right there in front of us where Blue's looking in nice and close and I'm looking at it from a high view, that there is a critical area. The reason is, if I get down to ground level and look back that way, it has line of sight and control over that road. That road is a supply line to get into Pierre's farm. If you control this area of the map, you control anything coming in from the east, which means that attackers have to come in from the west or the left side of the road there as we look at it from an aerial view. So Chimera are doing what I think is a good thing to try and control that area up the right. It also allows them, if someone starts to push in from the wheat fields here on the 10, 11 o'clock position, Chimera can shoot back to Pierre's farm from up there. So they can set up an anti-tank gun and shoot where Watchman and Mav are to stop attacks coming in from here, literally from here, where Altair and Mav are. This is where you attack from because you can get into the point quite nicely there. So this is what you've got to stop people from attacking from. The other area, of course, here is over in the wheat fields, and Chimera are now dominating that as well. This is a very, very, very good counterattack from Chimera. Really, I am impressed by the agility of how quickly they've capitalized on what Cerberus were doing. And now there's a bit of pressure here. Where's the point? There it is. There's a tiny bit of pressure out here, but not much yet on the cattle sheds. We'll just get in and have a look. They'll have a garrison in behind it somewhere for sure, or in amongst it. You know, it's usually good to have a garrison.
They've got a garrison right in the center of cattle fields. It looks like they put it in the...
It's in a building?
Western cattle shed, yeah.
All right, having a look. See, it's in this one. Ooh.
Maybe in the middle, but that's where it says
There
on
it
the
is.
map. It's not accurate, but it looks like it's there.
No, it's there. It's in the building, and it's into one of the horse stables or whatever they are. So that's going to be hard to root that one out because you can't artillery it. You can't really shoot it with a tank. You can't shoot it for a rocket. You've got to try and get in there and crack it open. A good satchel will get rid of that. And that's
Kettle Sheds is one of those ones. Is like you could defend it incredibly well. Couple of barricades across the front doors, some Belgian gates or hedgehogs to stop a tank coming through. You can block it off quite easy, and then everyone spawns in the cattle sheds, and you're a little bit safe from a bombing run. But then
there's
you
nothing
have
there,
the risk
Blue.
of
There's nothing there right
now. It can
now.
be harder. There's no defensive. Like for offensive as well, people block that off quite easily. But if you put the garrison in the cattle sheds, you don't have to build it out in the open. You have like built-in defenses and a safe spot for the garrison to go. So they have to come and get it. They can't just bombing run it. They have to come and get it. They have to get a satchel on the wall. And getting a satchel on the wall in cattle sheds going to be a lot more difficult than say a different point where you can just kind of satchel the side of the building. They have to get into the point, and it's very open around cattle sheds, so it can work to the advantage, but it can also work to the disadvantage as well.
Chimera having a tough time out on the east side of the map, so I'm just going to do a bit of a summary of what's going on now for everybody. There's a bit of a tank, a ranged battle out here. The tanks know each other are there, but they can't see each other quite yet. And Chimera have been trying to push up that eastern flank, and Cerberus HTD saw that as a threat, so what they've done is they've shut that attack down, and it's just a bit of a stalemate there, trading people backwards and forwards. There's two Panthers on the field. We've got one on the eastern flank. Another one here down in the 7 o'clock position of Pierre's farm, and it's trying to shoot up and look over those open fields. So from those two areas, there's quite a bit of open terrain there. So you can do what Cerberus did before. You leave your two tanks here with a handful of infantry, and they should be able to hold this pretty well. And if they start to get cracked open and the tanks start dying, that's when you surge back. So Chimera in a pretty good position here to defend. They've pushed up plenty of infantry right up. I'm impressed with how quickly they've moved up into these wheat fields, and they've really, really stretched forward there now. And they're just starting to crack through this area here, which is very common where Tism and Mav and where Diesel and Watchmen are. This is, I love coming through here because there's so much cover and concealment. So you can't see the enemy moving through here very easily from range. It's tight terrain. As I zoom around here, you can see what I mean. So it's a nice spot to advance with a squad or with a bunch of people and get up into that wheat field to the east of cattle sheds. Once you get into that wheat field to the east of cattle sheds, which we're looking at there now where Watchman is, get a squad surge in there, get that garrison in out that way, get the air hit in, do all the things. And then up the north there of cattle sheds as well. Cattle sheds is quite deep, but there's still those two wheat fields which are great to spawn in on. This area here out to the southwest of cattle sheds is a good attacking spot sometimes, but you do have a lot of open terrain there in center of screen right now that you have to come up to cattle sheds from, which makes it a lot harder. So this is more of a distracting point here where Red 6 is. You really want to be making your attack from the wheat fields, unless they know you're doing that, of course, in which case sort of come in from more south as well. Cerberus are defending the south of cattle sheds very strongly, very, very strongly. I would like to see more Chimera infantry pushing up there where Tism is. They're not doing that at the moment. Maybe they're saving for a VK airhead, which is always a special. There's a truck, Keltith moving. Blue, do a map check for us, please. We'll just have a quick look at that now and do a summary of it. And I can hear aircraft coming over, so there's a few things going on right now. Those couple of tanks, as I said, there's the Kugelwagen racing around. Oh, I love the Kugelwagens, I really do. Kettenkrad. I want a Kettenkrad though, which is the little half-track motorbike thing. I told the devs they're going to bring that into the game, and
they got to give the commander a motorbike.
Yeah, what's it? The Kettenkrad, which is the front of it's a motorbike, and the back end's like a mini half-track. It's almost like a quad bike, but 3 wheels, and the back end's a half-track.
There goes a tank.
There goes a tank. Was that a
that would have been the medium. So the area you've told me to watch, they just had 2 tanks up in here. They did have a medium and they had a light over there, but they've lost the big one. Yeah, I think that was a. Oh, what is it? The M something something.
The Panther has hit the 75 at long range. So that was a pretty good shot from him. I'm just looking at the map here still myself while Blue's looking at that screen. and you can see this
There it is.
Chimera attack is now stagnating a little bit. So the Cerberus HTD defense is taking a bit of time to get together. They've got themselves together now, and it's at the moment 37 to go. Blue, what does Cerberus need to do? What does Cerberus HTD need to do right now, besides defend cattle sheds, of course? How are they going to take Pierre's back?
They need to get right round and do that really wide flank we were talking about earlier. They need to go all the way over. Where is J Squad? Is all the way over. Yeah, J Squad needs to get a garrison up there. They need to go all the way down to like 7 or 8. Even get into Sainte-Marie-du-Mont and then come back around. Just send like 2 squad leads. Just do this super wide, ridiculous flank. Go all the way around and then get up into the back of Pierre's farm.
They need to do what they did.
They should be able to clear out all the garrisons there. And even if they just get all the garrisons, that would be helpful, because then Chimera have to go and set up all their attacking garrison and their backup garrisons.
Yeah.
And Cerberus and the HTD will be able to push in from the front and do a frontal assault on
even if they do, they need to do what they did like 20-30 minutes ago. Here's a precision strike coming in. I can see that's killed something. Big bada booms over there. Was that the Chimera tank, or was that I think that was the Chimera tank. Yes, it was.
It was the Cerberus. It's marked. I can see it right on the map. It landed straight on that mark, so that must have been a super accurate
static tank bad
one.
Static tank bad, particularly on open maps, because someone can just spot you. The SIBO is actually right there in front of it. He's about 20 meters in front of it, so the commander's seen a tank.
He saw it and marked it himself.
He's done it. But what Cerberus HTD need to do is do what they did before on Sainte-Marie-du-Mont, but do it better. Like the same move with the squad leaders running around and that, but then get the surge happening. They've got no pressure at the moment on cattle shed, so they've got time and manpower to do this. Static a little bit at the moment. Mav is actually moving up through that forestry there where I like. We know what Chimera, what I wanted to see from Chimera before through that area. So they're sort of sending in a machine gun or a satchel. That is the attacking squad. Mav, Jam, definitely the attacking squad. Chimera tend to stick with that sort of thing. What do you got going on there behind that haystack, Blue? What is that? AT gun.
They're putting up an AT gun. If they can get it up before the artillery gets them. It looks like they're just trying to shoot down the road and take out that Chimera push through that kind of wheat field. They got a garrison as well, so it looks like they're just trying to pull up the map here. They're just trying to hold off that Chimera push through that tiny little wheat field corner down that side road to Pierre's farm is probably where they want to push down as well. They'll want to get round and go back, push Chimera back, and then get round that road themselves, and then go into Pierre's farm.
Well, that seems to be where their entire attack seems to be coming down that east side right now. They're just holding elsewhere. So this is now turning into the same thing I said about Chimera about 30-40 minutes ago. This is a very singular line attack from Cerberus HTD. There's a tank pushing up towards them right now. Something just blew the hell up out of that guy. I don't know what that was, but it must have hurt.
That was a satchel, it looks like.
Yeah, there's nothing left of him, so I think he felt that one. And there is a big kill on something around the back of the point here as well. That might have been that Stuart, if not. Oh, look at the destruction. Oh, my goodness. There are bodies. There's a garrison there at about the 4 o'clock position. As we can see there, Blue, there's a garrison there, and it's got about 6 dead bodies around it, and there's a couple more just spawned in. The artillery's on it. The tank now is getting pressured by infantry. This is pretty good stuff here from Cerberus HTD as they start to push out, but the artillery from Chimera is really doing its work here. But nobody's making any ground out on this right-hand side of the map. So we're just going to go back across now and see what's happening in Bunnings area. And you can see nothing, no ground being made anywhere here. Someone's just asking in chat about zooming in every so often, and that there's a balance to be found. I tend to find that most people complain if I stick in too close to the action, they want to see the panoramic more. So that's why we've got the point of view camera up there in the top right hand corner. That gives us that close in action, 10 or 20 meters behind the tank or whatever, so we can actually see some of that play that's going on. Otherwise, I get a lot more complaints if I pull back too far, if I'm too close in rather on the main screen.
Someone asked to see less map because they were saying that I missed some action, and then the next game, someone was like, "Can we see more map?" And it was like, "Well, it's kind of hard having 2 cameras. It gives us the option we get a little bit more action covered, but it's always hard with this because we only have 2 cameras and we can't replay.
Some people want to
Unfortunately.
watch close in action for the entire match. I get that. I'm okay with that. Some people want to watch what I'm doing on the main screen right now, which is just a panoramic, but even further back. I'm okay with that too. I tend to try and find a balance there where I can, and I just sort of focus in on panoramics around certain battle areas with a little bit. Someone gave me some feedback a while back about having action in the background as well, which you can see up the top right corner there. So this sort of gives us a bit of action, and by doing this also, if I get in too close, I don't see things like little Mr. Kelteth there pushing in from the west side, although I think the commander's worked that out. There must be a garrison or something over here. No, he's just got an OP in, but Sibo's seen something out there and he's pushing in towards Kelteth, and that's the stuff you miss if you're too close in, and we didn't miss that. So acknowledging that people like to see close in action sometimes, that's what Blue's doing in that top right corner. So, and it's I appreciate Blue being here. Blue gets nothing out here out of this except my gratitude, and hopefully your likes, subs and follows, folks.
I get to rank up my tank commander and my rifleman for free too.
There it is. But you know, Blue supports me on this sort of stuff all the time for nothing at all. So we've just done a shout out to her as well there. So thank you, Blue.
Oh, thanks.
And
I'm here for the fun. These are incredibly fun, and it's so good to see. Like you see the comp teams doing something, you're like, oh, that was good. I like where they put their garrison. Earlier today, I found a spot to put a garrison. You can't see it from the south because there's a bush in the way. I went, well, next time I play, I'm gonna use that. So it helps me be better in pub matches.
There you go. Nothing happening out here on the east side of the map at the moment. The same slaughter occurring, although that artillery now zoomed in completely on top of that garrison, and I just saw well, there's a lot of death here. Chimera now getting the numbers out there. If that artillery keeps hitting that area, noting there's a 25 to 30 second delay on artillery transit time. Chimera trying to push this little garrison here at the 7 o'clock position on screen right now. If they can take that, Gotrek's almost there. They can take that. That is going to absolutely.
Yeah, there is no one. There is, unless they get a spawn. Nope, the only fake spawn and has been taken down. Gotrek is going to get that. Lupus as well, running for the garrison. They managed to clear out absolutely everyone from Cerberus HTD from this area. And now they've taken out the garrison, they have free reign here.
Yeah, that's right. So they'll be able to control that area like we were talking about before. That's good news for them. Still, Bunnings is fairly well defended. You can see the Cerberus HTD guys are spread out right nicely, you know, in a big defensive line about 100, 200 metres out from their point. And the reason for that, why that's so critical, is if they lose people out there, they can respawn and get back there, hopefully. If they are defending on the point itself, as we talk about multiple times, when they die, they're literally respawning on the point they're defending, and the team rolls you that way. So you've got to have your defensive line sort of pushed out. So Cerberus HTD are doing that pretty well right now, and that's good for them. The Chimera attack is actually backed by a tank there I just saw shooting in. This is a little bit of an interesting one, actually. We're just just trying to get an idea of what is happening. It's kind of... There's like stuff going on. There's lots of killing going on, but no one's really, except for that east flank, which has finally been rolled by Chimera. No one's going anywhere in the middle of the map, Blue. It's stopped. There's some rockets going up, or is that a recon? No, I think that's a rocket. Chimera now in rocket range to rocket the artillery. I can see a tank moving at the 10 o'clock position, by the way, on the screen right now. So way in the background there's a tank coming in as well from you know, from the center point there. So we'll see what that's doing. It's probably going out to that eastern side of the map to try and stop that Chimera push. Blue's just going to bring up the map there and have a bit of a look. See, we might actually do that, Blue. There's sort of not much happening here, just a bit of argy-bargy going on. We'll bring up the two maps and we'll have a bit of a look and see what we've actually got quickly. So there's that Chimera push on the eastern side with the tank support. That's a Panther out there. They've got a Panther south of cattle sheds, and Chimera are on the front foot right now and just starting to push up. What have you got there from Cerberus HTD, please, Blue?
Because they lost, what is it, H4, that area we just saw where the garrison went down, they now have G4. They've got a garrison up, and it looks like they're pushing back out into that area. They probably want to take it back. They do have to contend with the tank out there, but it looks like they've got a good defensive line along that square, just trying to stop Chimera from pushing in from the east. but they do have a lot of sector control. They are all over the point. They're all over in proxy. They're all spread out. They've got two tanks coming in from mid cap as well, and I see 3 transport trucks just kind of driving around the map. So it looks like they've got some area. They'll be putting up garrisons and spawn points as well, and they do have both recon teams down at the artillery as well, giving them a hassle. Because the artillery this game has been going absolutely ham. Cerberus HTD only have 1 person on. No, they're not sitting on Artie. It looks like they may be dealing with any Chimera recon if they're up the back. So it looks like their Artie are causing problems on both sides and have to be dealt with as well.
Absolutely. So it is stagnating at the moment. It is just a stagnant battle right now. That push from Chimera on the eastern side there is going to be a thorn in Cerberus HTD's side. And what the next objective, which I can see Cerberus HTD are aware of this, by the way. If you look down there in front of us right now, you can see fake Mr. and Gen, whatever that says. Zebra, Hellion, and that they've got a couple of squad leaders there, 3 actually. They know this is a critical area, so they've put quite a bit of defense in there. Chimera is going to try and push that. Cerberus HTD are going to try and stop that, and I'm comfortable that they are smart enough to work out that that is a big risk for them if they don't cover that area right now. That tank, or tank pushes should be coming down that east side, probably more open terrain, good and bad. The trouble with open terrain out there is that the Panthers can shoot you just as good as you can shoot them, and Chimera will be using those Panthers as best they can. There's a Panther right here in front of us right now down the front center of map, or center of screen rather. He's unsupported. I find that fascinating. And out on the west side here, although Keltheth is still pushing quite nicely, Cerberus HTD have absolutely got the upper hand out here, and they're covering things. Something just blew up. That was a truck. Mick hidden in shadows. There's a couple going around. Mick's throwing rockets down range, so he's doing the long lobs. This is a fairly dead attack out here. Cerberus HTD have got a very good defensive line there. I think they'll be holding for quite a while here. 25 to go, Blue. 25 to go. They do have to crack somewhere, though. Cerberus HTD have to do somewhere. And just interesting on some of the chat that's going on there. I agree that although I love this map, the teams do tend to go for the same maps. I mean, the number of times that I've cast Sainte-Marie-du-Mont in this and HCA and APAI and oh my fucking! I
did Foy at all. We got
no one wants to play Foy.
There was a Stalingrad, I think, for the APAI, and everyone was very surprised. And then the semi-finals was both Hill 400 and Hertcombe Forest. So that was also interesting with the hill, the foresty maps. But nobody plays Foy. The Russian maps don't get played either. I don't think people want to play the Russians just because they are behind in their gear. So I think it does tend to be the US versus the Germans. But I think with more updates, we'll see the Russians even out, and I think we will see more Russian maps as well. And maybe, you know what, maybe just play Foy.
Can I get you, Blue, just
nice,
quickly?
It does have...
Just zoom in a bit on that action if you can, please. I want to get that a bit tighter. At the moment, I'm watching the other point, so just watching what's going on in that little screen as well.
That would be the tank.
You won't
exploded behind me.
You won't see Foy too much because I think it's just a bit too open. And that Kursk daytime as well is one that people write off completely because it's just too much sniper shit.
Just like this map, though. I find this map has.
This is
fields
more closed.
And bushes.
This is more closed. Like all these hedgerows give you concealment from movement, whereas Foy, you've just got the fences where people can see through the fences. Here, there's not as much. This Panther running into the point.
One of those tank maps.
I don't know what that Panther was doing, but it just died. It just drove in the point and died itself. But there's some interesting stuff going on here in that Chimera. Just starting to get a little bit of momentum here, but I think Cerberus are going to try and push around and cut that off. We'll see as we watch it nice and close there on Blues over in that eastern flank. They're getting momentum over that way. But with the maps, Sainte-Marie-du-Mont certainly overplayed in comp, and it would be lovely to see more balance. We did see Remagen, of course, nighttime played, which I absolutely love that idea, but it is a biased map. Unless it's the bridge cap point, then it's always going to favour one team or the other. And it did favour Chimera in that match, no matter what anyone says. However, both teams picked it. So it's like, suck it. That's all I say. You know, if you pick the map, that you bear the consequences of that. That's how the system works. You can't end up with a map and then go, oh, we didn't want that map in that side or whatever. It's like, well, there's a system in place. So you ban what you don't want, and then you get what you do want. You've got to play some map. You've got to play some map at some stage. You can't just ban everything and go, I can't play.
You have to play on a map. You do need a map to play. I would be interested to see the new map. I've played about 10 minutes of the game since the update happened because I've been casting most of it.
I think
I've spent that on the flamethrower, but I haven't played the new map, so I wonder if the new map might be a fan favorite.
Kharkov's a little bit like the like Foy, but in this way. So why I say this map is different to Foy is because it's got lots of areas that are concealment. You know, all those wheat fields, you don't have that on Foy. All of the buildings, you don't have quite as many. The trees and the huge amounts of bush and hedgerow and stuff, you don't have that on Foy. So this map has got much more terrain to hide behind and maneuver around and stuff. Kharkov is a snow map, but it's got more undulating terrain, big deep trenches and, you know, bridges and stuff, a bit like Remagen. So
like a cross between Foy and Kursk, I imagine.
Yeah, Foy and Kursk and Remagen. So what it gives you is the areas of the map where you can move around unseen a little bit more. But there's also a lot of buildings on Kharkov where you can hide underneath them or around them or near them. I love this, and I do enjoy Kharkov so far. But having said that, it hasn't been seen in comp. Everyone in chat, by the way, is just watching what happened half an hour ago with the fascinating play around sainte-marie-du-mont and Pierre. So this is going to get a bit hypey in chat right now. I can see it. While we sit here and we look, it's boring as fuck right now for us because it's just a whole bunch of people killing a whole bunch of people in the same areas, isn't it? Right now, I mean, there's some really cool, interesting close game play like this here with Endgame and Spherical.
A bit, as in they're both. There's not a massive push going on. There's not like the tanks we just saw. Like it just kind of all stopped, which is why we're talking about another map. It just kind of all stopped, and they pushed, and the flanks stopped. The pushes stopped. The tanks kind of stopped as well. They stopped pushing up as well, and they've kind of just sitting back and trying to take them out. I think what they're doing is recollecting. And then they'll make a push because then they can kind of get a bigger group going and then they can push further forward better because they'll need the tanks to have infantry support. They can't just send them off. So maybe they'll have a team going. Maybe they're changing up their tactics. I hear it playing as well.
Yeah, absolutely. So I'm just telling Bluey, we talk about that exact thing. The viewers lose out a little bit here because it is a bit stagnating. I want to have a look at the maps quickly. I do really want to look at that, Blue, if we can just bring that up and have a look at what is going to happen. We're down to the 20 minutes. A precision strike just went in up at Charlie Delta 1. Was about to go in up there. That's interesting. Here it goes. A precision strike up there now. What is he striking? What did he just hit? He's hit the Stuart. Oh, that seems a bit of a waste, but okay, that's his choice. Back to the maps. Sorry. So Chimera are now starting to get their roll going here. They're getting their roll going here out on that west side. They're just starting to put a few numbers out there. I don't think their attack's been successful yet in the way their attacks have been going. I don't know. Something's changed with the Chimera. They don't seem to be rolling as well. In their attack, and they're very look at this cluster at Fox 5, Golf 5. There's fucking people everywhere from Chimera, and they've been there forever. You know, if I look though at Cerberus HTD, it's almost the reciprocal of that. The same things happening. They've got the same sort of numbers in the same sort of area, doing the same sort of things with a couple of stragglers around the back. Nobody's really showing agility right now. They're showing trench warfare. Would you agree with that?
They're not pushing through. Yeah, they're not pushing through each other. Whereas before, like up in that area where we saw the Chimera push through, they were pushing through, and Cerberus HTD were pushing through on the other side. But now they've swapped up the tactics. They're on the defense, they're on the attack. But now they're coming up against the same numbers. They're not coming up a little group that's holding one little corner and they're rolling their tank through. It's now they're hitting a wall, and neither team can break through the other side. So it's kind of like they almost evened out along their defense and attack lines, and they're just kind of like pushing and shoving against each other. They're not actually making a move. The only thing I can see is a huge wide flank from Cerberus HTD, which is out in, where are we, C6? They've got an OP up, and it looks like they're going to go all the way around the back of Pierre's farm, which is what I said before. They need to go all the way around to the side of the map, and then go all the way down, and then all the way across, and then all the way up.
They're taking too long.
And start taking out the garrisons.
Blue, there's a lot of people here on static defense. There's. I'm just looking at a panoramic here. You're jumping in nice and close to the action if you can, please. That wheat field looks interesting right now. Just looking from the panoramic there, you can see the commander is in the middle of all of that stuff, where just near where Blue is, I think, and yeah, it's over that way. And there's lots of bodies moving around in there. They're surging in that middle area. Oh, that's a surge through to Pierre's farm. Chimera should be able to hold that. This east of map flank that's coming out here is not going anywhere. Chimera's holding that well out of their own defensive point, so that's good. That's good work there, and they should hold that now. Cerberus are running out of time. They are now running out of time. There's 17 minutes left to go. They've got 15 minutes left, and Chimera hold the upper hand here. The only way I think Cerberus are going to crack this, because Chimera are pushing central now. So, this is really interesting. Chimera have got the upper hand in the middle. Cerberus left HTT. Cerberus HTD running it from the left. They've got some at the right. Chimera's starting to get the momentum towards cattle sheds. They're about 100 metres closer to cattle sheds than they were before, with the vast majority of their troops. Hell of a place to be right now for your new... where he is.
Your new wish, your new whisper. I'm not sure what their name is, but that is an excellent tactic. Crawl through the wheat fields. I like to run through an open field. I'm a huge fan of that tactic. It works.
But they haven't got time.
Take 2 minutes to crawl through a wheat field and get to that garrison that you're trying to get. Yeah. Sometimes if you're close enough and it's strategic enough, it's worth it, because that's what you need to do to get around it. You don't make noise when you crawl either. So your new wish will be able to try and stay away from Mav here. Yeah, and we'll be able to try and take them out, but you gotta be able to think about it and not. You're gonna take. Oh.
Blue, I'm a bit confused at the moment as to where Cerberus HTD are. There's five there. Like, I'm just having a bit of a look-see around, a bit of a hover, try and work it out. Here's the flank that's coming in. They've got 3 against about 6 from Chimera. There's a couple more going way out wide. See, these guys now, they're running out of time. Blue, they are absolutely running out of time here. I struggle to see how Cerberus are going to be able to take back Pierre's. They're taking too long to get momentum. The last 20 or 30 minutes was when they should have been doing this setup stuff, and now they should be executing that brilliant plan. But either Chimera have managed to shut down those moves that they've done, or they've just been too slow. I think it's a mix of both.
I think that's the wall we had before, where everyone was pushing, everyone was running, and then it stopped.
Yeah, and then
we started talking about a different map. I think that's when they couldn't quite get a push. They were trying it, but they had a garrison or 2 taken out, so they had to come from further back, which will slow down any push that you need to do earlier, because you have to run from so much further back.
Yeah.
But they have a push now. It looks like out on this eastern side, but they really need to clear out Chimera, get their garrison and start booking it down the eastern side and get into the point.
Yeah, and Blue's, of course, going to be nice and tied in on this action here for us. We're just watching that at about the 11 o'clock position on screen there. There's a tank sitting down here where Warpy is, shooting down the road. They're trying to, Cerberus HTD sent a whole bunch of people in where Dashnitz is here, and they're all dead. So where are they? If they're not there, there's a couple around here near Bunnings. These buildings here down below this cattle shed. I'm struggling to work out what the hell Cerberus HTD are thinking here. They're not making ground on the east side of the map. They're not making ground in the middle of the map. They're sending people way out here now. Like, with 13 minutes to go, where are these guys? They are way out in Charlie 5.
For the garrison, though.
Oh, hang on. There's some movement. Blue, I've got some movement. I've got a red lock on a garrison down here now.
Oh, nice.
Oh, that's just recon. That's one person.
Cookie took out that garrison as well in that eastern side. ran straight across an open field past an MG and has taken down the garrison, the officer as well, and is now taking down the supply. So this might be the push we're about to see down the eastern side as well.
It's
so
too
this
late.
Is kind of what you were talking about before.
Blue, I'm watching right now. The point is being contested on cattle sheds. Chimera getting the momentum through this middle area where all of those Cerberus HTD guys were. They've all gone. I don't know where they've gone. I'm literally trying to work out. Could you pop your map up just quickly? I'm not going to look at it on the main screen. Is there an airhead or something? No, there's not. There's nothing.
No, there's no airhead. I'm just seeing a lot of spread along that
they're all everywhere, and their point's starting to blink. They just had a blink on. Blinking means when the point starts to get capped, goes backwards and forwards and things like that. So it was contested there for a brief moment by Chimera. Cattle sheds was contested. That means that there's not enough Cerberus here defending, or they have got it wrong right now. Just looking though, that east side, they are pushing Chimera back, ever so slowly. They
had a good push. They took out the garrison.
Yeah, but look how much depth.
MG up there taking them out.
Look how much depth. It's 330 meters to the point here. They've got to work back to. That gives Chimera 330 meters of ground to protect themselves on Pierre's. All Chimera have to do is hold Pierre's to win. So I reckon at about the 5 or 6 minute mark, you're probably going to see half to three-quarters of the team go back on all-round defence on Pierre's. I'd consider doing that. He should already have his defence up. You would not want to lose Pierre's from this point, having held it now for about 30 minutes or so, after working so hard for 40 minutes to take it away from Cerberus HTD. They are still an aggressive team, though, Chimera, so I'm going to expect to see attacking still on the point. I'm also not seeing airheads, and I just heard some planes, and is this... No, it's still a supply drop. Well, Chimera are planning for the long fight here. The 11 minutes left that there is to play, they're bringing in ammunition now to the point, Blue. This is going to go down to 3-2, I think. I don't see Cerberus taking this sucker back. They got nobody around the back.
An amazing push, and they managed to get a transport truck full of people and just kind of plop one after the other off in a chain kind of thing towards the point.
Chimera's defending out to the west. They've got a bunch of machine gunners there. I can see Jam and DTV and Mick are all out here defending. Jam and DTV being the machine gunner icons, of course. And so as these guys from... there's a squad leader and a couple of guys from Cerberus HTD. As they come across out from the open here, they're going to get picked off. There we go. One's down already. Chimera defending it here. They are still, look at the distance to the point there, 560 meters away from Pierre's farm. There's no attack here from Cerberus HTD, with the exception of that east side where they are clawing. They're now 300 meters. So they made 20 or 30 meters.
I don't know where they are. I'm just pulling up my map, and all I see is this transport truck all the way down to sainte-marie-du-mont.
Oh, I see.
2 officers. You see that? You know how I said they were over here in C6 and they were getting OPs up and garrisons?
Yep.
I think that's what they did. They actually did the whole go to the other side of the map, go all the way down, go across. I said earlier, I think I called it in the beginning of the match, I said get down into sainte-marie-du-mont and then all the way back up and take out their back galleries as they go.
All right, there's a Panther coming through.
Might be that.
There's a Panther coming through right now, and if he's doing a 360-degree view, he should have seen that truck, and he has not yet. It's seedy and creepy again. They're obviously the attacking players for Cerberus HTD. I'd have a bobblehead, swivel head on that tank if I was that Panther. Let's see if they spot Seedy there hiding behind the thing. How good is the observer? Not good enough. He has not seen that. So there's a squad leader there.
They're probably not expecting them to be that far south. And if they do, they go, it's recon.
Yeah, but look at the defensive point at the moment. Just 2 mapping quickly there, Blue. Bring up your other map, thanks. We can have a look here and see. Look at the garrison spawn options there for Chimera. So they're ready in all-round defense. You can see Cerberus trying to work that up there. You can see those guys on the map. We're going to go back to the main page now. And you can see that Cerberus are pushing up, just following that Panther in towards the point. They got 8 minutes left. This is where I'm assuming they're going to want to throw down an airhead, supplies, all sorts of things. But once they light up one of these, there's 2 Panthers there on defense. That's a lot. There's 3 Panthers on the field right now, by the way, and a spare down the bottom of the map. Chimera not hurting for resources that much at all, so they're doing pretty well. As soon as these guys, here we go. I can hear aircraft. I can hear. What is it, Blue? Is it an airhead?
Recon. It's a recon and an airhead. It is. It's right at the back of Pierre's farm in that wheat field there, and you've got the 2 officers sneaking up. As soon as they cross that line, just past the cemetery, they'll drop their OPs, and I imagine we'll see a bunch of
VK's seen it. VK's seen it. Here he comes. I can see VK running back there. He should be screaming for support on that airhead. It is going to fall next to Andy, who was a game saver on Remagen, which is a fascinating thing. Here, there'll be a bombing run as well, for sure. They'd have to throw a bombing run in. This is a really,
strafing run and a bombing run.
That's a silly airhead, Blue, because it is an unsupported airhead, and it's like there'll be a bombing run on it or something. Here it is. There's a Panther moving on it.
Coming. Artie's coming as well. Heavenly's
going to
get on it. Unless they're going for the distraction, though.
Well, they definitely will achieve that. Heavenly's got that airhead. They haven't even bombed the airhead, so she's just got rid of that airhead, I'm assuming. Is it gone? Can you check your map?
I think airhead's down. But it does mean that those 2 officers are now just about to cross that line into the next sector where they can drop their OPs. They'll drop their OPs as soon as they get across that.
And looking south, you can see that garrison down there for Chimera is locked, which means it's going to drop. I'll just show you what I'm talking about. There's that garrison there. So right now, if they're looking at the map, Chimera will see 2 garrisons under threat. So they would probably, with 6.5 minutes to go, I'd get another squad back. At least another squad back.
Got taken out.
Oh, nice kill there on that garrison. So that would be a spawn wave has to come in right now for Chimera. They need to send back a defensive squad on top of what they've already got. 6 minutes 20 to go. Cerberus, this is a tight finish here. This is a tight finish. Geez, they took a long time to get people around. And look at the defenders from Chimera doing their job, doing it well at the moment. They've trimmed 2 off. Boyden's just been picked off by somebody. So they're going to know there's a few people.
Took them out and is now going for that other garrison.
Has he locked it? Has he locked it?
Corner.
It's still up. The garrison's still up. He's running past it. He's locked it now.
He's going for the line. He's going for the line to put the OP down. Then he'll go back for the garrison. Yep.
He's going to get strafed on that garrison. Oh, he's been shot instead.
He's up. But the OP's up. The strafing run goes, it takes him out, but his OP's up because it's just over the line. They'll be able to get a wave off.
Chimera just starting to cap Bunnings as well. They're just starting to cap the crossroads. I just saw it blink across. Here's that defensive one. Oh, there's a 4v2. Oh, my goodness me. Andy's looking the wrong way. He's been shot down. The garrison's been taken out. That's it. That's a great kill there. 5 minutes to go. 5 minutes to go. Now they know they're in a bit of trouble here.
We're going to see a car and we're going to see a garrison pop up. So the support has managed to get, and they've just killed themselves. So the support has managed to get the box down. We're going to see the officer support creepies back in.
Where's a Panther? There's 3 tanks up there to the north. 3 tanks there, plus a 4th up on cattle sheds. Chimera either need to push the point or send a tank back to freaking help them out. That's silly that they've got so many tanks right now. Why is there not a tank coming back to help the infantry on the point? Why is there not? Well, they are capping Blue. Let's go and have a look at that. Jesus, it's getting frisky here in the last 4 minutes. 4 minutes and 40 seconds to go. Chimera have got around the back of the point, as I expected they might do in the last part. Their attack has been better here than Cerberus HTD. I think what Chimera should do now is just race all of those tanks forward then. If they're not going to bring them back in defense, well, run the fuckers forward. Get them onto Bunnings as well.
Just left, don't bother. If you're starting to cap it, just send everyone. Have everyone run into either proxy or into the circle. But absolutely, yeah, that's the tactic here. Full send it into the point.
There it is. Bing, boom. Big spawn wave off of an airhead. That was an airhead. I knew there was an airhead or a garrison in here. I wasn't sure. I didn't want to open the map again because I wanted to show everyone what's still going on around in the actual area. So there's an airhead just down below us, of course. That's a big spawn wave. That garrison in there is gone from on cattle sheds. This is going to be taken. It's going to be a 4-1 from Chimera. In the death throes of the match, what has been an absolutely brutally hard-fought match, as we always like to see, of course. Chimera managed to hold off there. There's another spawn wave on that airhead. Oh, that's GG's, ladies and gentlemen. That is excellent work.
Yes, they're all over the cattle sheds.
Oh, that artillery is on point though. Just took out a bunch of the Chimera guys and also took out the Cerberus guy. But Chimera have got the numbers here now. The airhead is still on the ground in front of us. I can see it literally almost in the center of the map. So Chimera are going to take a 4-1 Oh, contested. That was a great strafe. But they have the numbers here on spawns. Boom, boom. There's 2 spawns in succession. Chimera are going to take this point. As I said before, it's going to be a 4-1 in 3 minutes to go. What a brilliant play. Oh, there's tanks dying over in the background there. So those tanks that are trying to push up, Cerberus took way too long to try and push that other point there, and they've lost this now. 4-1. This is GG's, ladies and gentlemen. That is going to be a Chimera match. That is Chimera winning this at probably either 4-1 or 3-2, depending on how this goes. There's no time left for Cerberus to win. What a great comeback from Chimera. They were on the back foot there for the first 40 minutes or so. What they managed to do.
Spawn wave off their airhead.
Yeah.
1, 2, 3, 4,
Well,
6.
should be everybody.
10 people? 15 people?
Yeah, it should be everybody.
How many people can you have spawn out on the airhead at once? We still haven't figured that out.
You should be sending everybody you can.
Fighting in the wheat fields, clearing them out. They're rushing to the next point. I think they might just kind of, again, have that send it tactic and see if they can try and start capping it.
Blue,
because even though there may not be enough time, let's see if they could have gotten it, I think.
Blue, what happened there was, of course, that we saw the first 40 minutes of the battle. It was a great first take from Cerberus HTD, and they held on very well. They put a lot of pressure on Chimera. And then they had a great attack going on sainte-marie-du-mont, which was... halfway through it, they changed whatever they were doing and just ruined their entire attack, which gave that one attacking squad from Chimera the chance to keep pushing on to Pierre's farm. Chimera took Pierre's farm, and they took it convincingly, absolutely smashed it through in the end. And then it's been another 30 to 40 minutes of brutal gameplay here, followed by... well, look, Cerberus HTD, as I said, they took way too long to get their attack up, and it just didn't do jack shit around the flank there.
They didn't do the wide flank. You know how I said at the beginning of the game, go wide. If the midpoint is on the left, go wide, go all the way down, go even up to the back of Sainte-Marie-du-Mont, and then come up the back of Pierre's farm. They did exactly that. They just didn't do it early enough. As soon as they lost mid-cap, they should have started having that flank. And if it didn't work, try it again. Just continue with that ridiculously wide flank. They didn't do it until the last 5-10 minutes, which meant they didn't get established garrisons. They didn't get a chance to take down the garrisons as well, and they didn't have a chance to, like, actually have time to take it and have an advance. They only had the 5 minutes. So I think if they'd done that earlier, they may have been able to take it back. But I think they waited too long for that super wide flank.
Yeah, I just had a lovely comment in there from Matthew Long about the much balance and heavy towards distance and no close up. You know, the number of times I've been asked to stay further back far outweighs the number of close-ups, and this is the default area where I'm at right now, where after almost 12 months of streaming, this is where people have broadly wanted me to be at. So I appreciate the feedback, guys, I really do, but it's unlikely that I'm going to change too much more at this stage.
It's the best middle point. Whoever's hosting has the best quality as well. Second cam often doesn't have great quality, so host does wide and then second cam does close. There's 2 cameras.
Let's wrap that up there, Blue, because it's a victory to Chimera, 4-1. What a great, interesting match on a heavily played map. So, you know, well done to the Chimera guys there, and unfortunately for Cerberus HTD, they just didn't quite get it together on the day. We're just having a look now at, and Blue, I'm just going to drop your screen off there so we don't need that anymore, and I'll drop the header bar off as well. Just looking at, folks, give people the chance to actually have a look at what their favourite players might be.
Plays in this one, I think. Yeah. When we look at the points, I think
you expect that.
Like, I think there were a couple of tactics that we were like, oh, they're going to do this. This is a good thing, and it worked as well. And they actually put the time to, you know, do a flank or do a push. They took time to get collected when they took a point and then move on.
So, Blue, just sum up quickly for us as we're looking at this in 30 seconds or less, the match.
30 seconds. I don't know. I think Cerberus and HTD held it for 30 minutes, and then Chimera, they bungled the attack. If they hadn't bungled the attack, I think it would have gone differently, and I think Chimera took advantage of a mistake, and I think they then just played on that. I think they did really well to just, like, an opening came, and then they just grabbed that opportunity and ran with it. So.
All right, I'm going to drop us back over to that main screen now, back to our pretty heads once this music stops, because you always love to hear the tune out. Although they there is some copyright challenges around that music. All right, so back on the main screen now. I'm going to sum it up here by saying that I think it was a good game. It was a hard-fought game, as I expect at this stage in the competition. And what it means is, if we bring up that seasonal draw now, Chimera go through into the 2-2, and they've got one match left to either take them through the playoffs or be eliminated. The trouble is, they're going to be playing against one of those 6 teams up the top there, whoever lost out of those 3 matches in the 2-1 column, and none of those teams are slumps. They've already been beaten by the Line, by Raptors, and that is going to be... I don't think they actually play either of those teams again, but if they can avoid it, I'm not really sure whether they randomly end up with a team or it's hand-selected. I haven't looked at the rules that closely for that. But they're going to be playing someone... They're going to play against somebody quite challenging in the next match for them. So that'll be where they get to. For Cerberus HTD, they've made it about as far as they normally make it, according to what they told us. They were happy just to get in and win the first match in this round, in the main stage. So the fact that they got through a couple and got to this point, well done to them. But they are unfortunately eliminated now. So we won't see them again in this competition, but we say thank you very much for your competitive spirit. And what was an enjoyable match tonight, folks. I did enjoy that one. Blue, I'm going to end it
really well.
I'm going to end it there because it is late, of course, for us here in Australia. Thank you very much for your joining me again. I've got another seasonal maybe next weekend. Usually I do the Chimera matches, it seems, so the fact that they got through means I'll probably have another match. But you and I are also, I'm joining you on your stream, I think, at the end on Saturday night for a match.
Next Sunday?
Yeah, so
I have to check the dates. Is it next Sunday? Yes, I'll get to have you on my stream.
It'll depend on what's going on, of course, with when this next match is and whether I've got it. Blue, thank you very much for joining me tonight. I've been your host, Noppers. Lovely to see you all, ladies and gentlemen. I'm going to go and watch the rest of this stream now, and I'll look forward to seeing you next time. Good night and goodbye for now.
Bye.
And we are